Tonight on Cronkite News, do you have an alley behind your house? Find out how a program is making sure those alleys stay clear.
Plus, a change to the Tempe Street Cars. There will be a small fee for riders. Stick around to see why.
And cornhole is leaving the backyard and making its way to a national stage. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Lindsay Dean.
And I'm Jessica Poole. Thank you for joining us.
We begin with the ongoing wildfires up north. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs met with federal officials in Washington to talk about two major fires burning right now. The Dragon Bravo fire has charred about 13,000 acres around the Grand Canyon. Hobbs met with officials from the Trump administration yesterday. She announced last week that she was opening an investigation, as she has concerns regarding the fire department's strategy towards the fire. Hobbs says many businesses have been disrupted. Her goal is to control the burn and to reopen the north rim of the canyon. The Dragon Bravo wildfire is now 18% contained, a 10% difference from just yesterday.
Meanwhile, 40 miles north of the White Sage fire is also continuing to burn. The fire is nearly 50% contained as firefighters are getting a handle on the situation. But first responders are concerned the fire will become more active with temperatures rising and a humidity drop in the coming days.
Thousands of Arizona homes have an alley in their backyard, and those alleys can attract trash, bugs, and even homeless encampments.
Cronkite News reporter Eddie McCoven talks with Phoenix residents about a program that the city has to keep alleyways safe, clean, and secure.
We've seen drug deals, we've seen drug use, prostitution, lots of bad things.
Ruth Garcia Fellons is one of the founders of the Lake Biltmore Block Watch, and she's been working with residents in her community and others to take advantage of the gated alley program in the city of Phoenix. One of the alleys she worked to get a gate on was this one, right behind Cholla Middle School.
You could have people wandering through during the school day, people throwing things over the fence. It just wasn't a good, safe environment for the students of Cholla School.
The gated alley program started as a pilot project in 2017, and since 2022, it's been an official budgeted city program. And the city recently hit another milestone, with the number of alley gates now surpassing 1,100.
The city of Phoenix says that another 548 gates have already been approved and are ready to be installed. Another 73 are on a vetting list. And it takes about 6 months for an alley gate to get installed.
Greg Gonzalez with the city of Phoenix says the program is purely resident-driven by submitting signed petitions. There are some additional things the city requires, like making sure all of the homes have a fenced backyard, and there are situations where Gonzalez says an alley gate may not be approved.
Is there parking in the alleys? Are there garages in the alleys? Are there multifamily or commercial vehicle use that goes back there, or even commercial trash collection?
Phoenix resident Todd Motzer says he was against the alley gate at first, but says he likes the results.
We have less transients, people climbing over walls, dumping trash 24 hours a day back here. So I mean, it's really worked out really good to have this.
And that's what Garcia Fellon says is the whole point of getting these gates installed.
It's for the safety of the community. It's for the safety of the neighborhood.
In Phoenix, Eddie McCoven, Cronkite News.
Currently, Phoenix is the only city in Arizona with a city-funded gated alley program.
Federal funding cuts to health care programs could affect the decades of work combating HIV and AIDS here in Arizona. According to the HIV and Hepatitis Policy Institute, the Trump administration has shut down and made cuts to HIV programs. ASU professor and researcher Angel Algerin says the lack of funds could detour efforts to slow the spread of the virus.
Something needs to change, and more resources need to be allocated if we really truly want to see changes and decreases in new HIV infections in Arizona.
Phoenix is still one of many cities that are part of the Fast Track Cities initiative with the goal of ending new HIV infections by 2030. Arizona saw a 20% increase in new infections in 2022.
And Maricopa County health officials reported the first death from the West Nile virus this season. The county also confirmed 17 non-deadly cases so far this year. They say the victim was an older adult with underlying health issues. The virus spreads through the bite of an infected mosquito.
For more than 2 years, the Tempe Street Car has cost riders Nothing. But the free rides ends next month, beginning August 4th. Valley Metro will start charging for trips. OzX tells us why the fare is increasing and what it can mean for the Tempe Street Cars.
Since opening in May of 2022, the streetcar has logged more than 2.2 million rides. Rideship grew from 622,000 in 2023 to nearly 780,000 in 2025 so far, a sign that demand is strong, even before fares kick in.
The plan all along was to have fare on streetcar. That's what our board of directors, the Valley Metro board has approved. That's the policy we were going to have.
The 3-mile loop links Arizona State University, Mill Avenue, and Tempe Town Lake.
We had a period of time where we were not charging fare, so our riders could get used to the new system, so we wouldn't have to make a big infrastructure investment on streetcar for fares that were going to go away.
Valley Metro says fare revenue will cover operating costs as initial federal grants phase out, and most riders seem to understand why.
There have been some people who obviously they haven't paid to ride on streetcar for a little bit, and that requirement is stunning, and that's never fun. But I think that once we explained it, that's always been the plan, and that they ended up getting an extra time of free rides, and they understand that this is important for our operation.
In Tempe, OzX, Cronkite News.
Riders will be able to pay their streetcar fares using the Valley Metro app or a physical tap card. Discounted fares will be available for seniors, students, and qualified low-income riders.
Coming up next, we highlight an indigenous game that's been played for generations.
Yes, the women of the Gila River Indian community are keeping a tradition alive. See how this sport, similar to field hockey, is connecting generations.
Plus, temperatures across the valley have been nice over the last few days, at least for July, but that's all about to change. Details on the weather warm-up when we return.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
In every culture, traditions and customs are passed down for generations, and that's no different for the indigenous communities of Arizona.
Cronkite News reporter Gabriela Salguero is in the newsroom with us today to show us the importance of the women's game of Thaka.
Yes, I drove 45 minutes to the Gila River Indian community to meet up with the women and young girls that play this game in a dusty lot. They express their love for the game and how reviving it keeps them close to their culture. On an early Saturday morning in the Gila River Indian community, women and young girls get ready to practice thaka, a traditional game played by indigenous women of the region that's been passed down for generations.
It's a growing game. We keep trying to invite girls out because it's a part of our tradition. We want to keep it alive just as much as our language, our water, and everything else.
The game originally came from the Tono O'odham women and used their same tradition since when it was first created. The game is similar to field hockey. The equipment is all handmade from mesquite. The stick used is called an usaga, and the puck is called an ora.
Everybody goes to their left. So when we're facing off going to our left, we put up 2 cones. So 2 cones will be to our left on this side, 2 cones will be on our left this way. So your team just goes and hits until you get to that goal. And once the order passes the cones or the boundary line, and they pick it up, then that's 1 point. And we usually play best out of 5.
The women of the community play this game regularly in the wintertime. They participate in thaka tournaments with other local communities that also share the same customs for generations. The Tono O'odham Nation, the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community, and the Acochin Indian community.
It always comes back to me somehow because I remember this is our tradition, and if no one else is going to keep it alive, if not me, then who else?
The history behind this tradition also comes with the lessons of life.
But it's such an empowerment for the women to teach your daughter how to play, to be strong.
This game was made for the women of these communities and will continue to be a game for the next generation of girls that take up their usagas. Back then, the winning team would often bet objects and even their children for labor. The game has no boundaries, so if you're a spectator at a thaka game, watch out, because these women do not stop playing for anyone. In the newsroom, Gabriela Salguero, Cronkite News.
Thanks, Gabriela. Now on to a report that finds Earth is actually spinning faster than normal.
Wow, and that means the days are actually getting shorter. In fact, scientists say today is expected to be shorter than normal by 1 millisecond. But at this point, the shorter days are not noticeable to humans, but could eventually have an effect in the very long run.
One good thing about shorter days, the temperature is usually lower, but that's not the case this week.
That's right. Brandon Cadiz joins us now with more on the rising mercury.
We're a couple of degrees under our averages for this time of the year, but we will heat up to the later half of this week. Currently, our temperatures look like this. 97 to 95 degrees we're hovering around. We see some cloud coverage before 93 degrees once you hit the hay at our 10 p.m. hour. And why are we seeing a little bit of those clouds? Well, a couple of hours ago, we still see some of that rain to the eastern part of the state and to the western and to the eastern part of Phoenix. And when we jump in a couple of hours, you still see some spotty rain there to the south of Phoenix, but by this time tomorrow, all of that precipitation and cloud coverage is exiting up north and to our neighbors in New Mexico. You won't get rained on if you're going to the Diamondbacks game tonight. They'll play the Astros for the second game of the 3-game series, and that roof will be all covered up. Taking a look at our overnight lows, that'll go up north to the coolest part of the state in the Grand Canyon at 41 degrees, to the western portion of Lake Havasu and Yuma at 77 degrees, while our highest portion for our lows will be in State 48 in Phoenix at 81 degrees. And our highs for tomorrow, that'll belong to Yuma down in the western half of the state at 106 degrees. Up here in Phoenix, we're at 104, and if you're going up north, you'll see a lot more cooler temperatures there with 93 in Page and 77 in Flagstaff. Now we take a look at our 8-day forecast. It'll look like this. I did mention that gradual warm up into the weekend, 107 and then going up to 110 on Sunday. And by this time next week, there is still that chance of rain on Tuesday and Wednesday. At the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Brandon Cadiz. Back to you all at the desk.
Taking a look at consumer news, General Motors announced today that its profits dropped more than $1 billion last quarter. GM says tariffs on imported cars and auto parts are to blame, and the company says it expects tariffs to cost up to $5 billion by the end of the year. GM also said it has no immediate plans to raise prices in response to the tariff costs.
And Coca-Cola said today it's releasing a new soft drink made with cane sugar. The move comes after President Trump claimed he persuaded the company to use the sugar in its drinks. Coke says the change is part of its, quote, ongoing innovation agenda. The new drink will launch this fall, but its current product made with high fructose corn syrup will still continue to be sold.
Coming up next, a new technology the Diamondbacks are using to create the ultimate fan experience for the blind and visually impaired. Kobe Mitchell has more information in tonight's Cronkite Sports Report.
That's right. Stay tuned for what the Diamondbacks are doing on game days to include not just some, but all of their fans.
Real cool and just real accurate, and it's fast too. So it's like you really watching a game for real.
Find out exactly how the D-backs are changing lives through baseball when we come back.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
Good evening and welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Kobe Mitchell. A familiar face has returned to the desert. Christian Walker is back at Chase Field, but this time he's donning a different set of threads. Walker spent parts of 8 seasons with the Diamondbacks, including a trip to the World Series in 2023. The first baseman signed a 3-year, $60 million contract with the Houston Astros this past offseason, and his former manager was happy to see him back.
We had some amazing times here. We had some amazing years here together, and it's just nice to have him back in the building. Hopefully he takes a couple, 3 days off, and we pitch him well, and we can get him out of here as soon as possible.
I mean, it is, still pretty fresh, but I think mostly excited about just seeing the guys. I've kept in touch with a few of them over the course of the year, but to be able to, give some hugs and shake some hands of people I haven't seen in a while would be good.
For sports fans, it's second nature to follow every play from their favorite teams. But for visually impaired fans, the game can sometimes feel distant. New technology allows them to feel the action. Cronkite News' Brandon Cadiz shows us a new device that's available at Arizona Diamondbacks games.
For fans like Adonis Watt, following sports once meant relying on radio calls and fan noise. But now everything changes thanks to a new device.
I like it. It's been real consistent, real cool, and just real accurate, and it's fast too. So it's like you really watching a game for real.
Sitting among thousands of fans at Chase Field, Watt keeps his hands moving, tracking every vibration across the one-court device.
The movement, you gotta feel around. You gotta be active with your hands, but that's the thing. It's a lot of information, and that's what's best. I'd rather have too much information than not enough.
He's not alone in wanting more information. Max Ashton at the Foundation for Blind Children became one of the first to try the device at Chase Field and says the details make all the difference.
As someone who's visually impaired, every little bit of description I can get, every little bit of a tactile representation of something, I'm always dying for more.
The Arizona Diamondbacks became the first MLB team to partner with OneCourt, making moments like this possible. The D-Backs Foundation will partner with other local nonprofits serving the blind and low vision community with free tickets.
We hosted a group from Foundation for Blind Children. One girl told her mom that sports were boring until she experienced this device. And she was blind and had never been able to see the game, but now that she had this device, she experienced the game in a whole new way.
One Court began as an idea in a classroom at the University of Washington, and with connections to Pacific Northwest sports teams, that idea took off.
The Cortland Trailblazers played a huge role in that. Early on, they were one of our biggest supporters.
Now, this device is comparable to your standard laptop keyboard, and real-time tracking by MLB data is being turned into haptic vibrations and audio cues for visually impaired fans to track every pitch and every play. For the D-Backs, the decision to join the mission came naturally.
I know with our organization, we love to give back into the community, and I think as players, we try and take pride in that.
For visually impaired fans, it's more than just following the score. It's finally being part of the game.
I don't remember watching baseball like that, so it's harder for me to connect to it. So with this, it's an easy connection I can make.
At Chase Field and other ballparks nationwide, One Court is opening up the game into something fans can truly feel. In Phoenix, Brandon Cadiz, Cronkite News.
One Court is planning to expand the device for at-home use and be already in time for fans to catch part of the 2026-27 Major League sports seasons. With football season around the corner, the Arizona Cardinals are getting ready to start training camp this week. The Cardinals have announced their practice schedule for training camp, and it includes a few open practices for fans, friends, and family. After finishing third in the NFC West last season, fans were left wanting to see more. And if you want to see how your favorite Cardinals improved over the offseason, there will be 9 open practices. First one taking place Thursday at 1:25 p.m. The American Cornhole League in Arizona wrapped up its season at the Arizona State Cornhole Championships. Cronkite News reporter Derek Rivera has more on how cornhole has brought one family closer together.
Ty Lopez is a professional cornhole player and was one of the top players of the weekend. As much as he cares about winning, he also appreciates the excitement cornhole brings to everyone involved.
There's not one person in here that's not having a good time, right? So it's a lot of fun. The community's always having a blast and just enjoying it.
Lopez wasn't the only member of his family enjoying their time at the Cornhole Championships. His wife Valerie and son Christian were also there to support, play, and sell some merchandise. Over 6 years ago, Valerie chose to take an exciting leap and start Shock Kings Cornhole, a cornhole apparel brand.
I decided, well, let's go for it. We've got nothing to lose. Let's start a business and try to pay for it ourselves. That's how that came about.
Still in high school, the younger Lopez was hopeful that the game of cornhole can give him an opportunity to play at the collegiate level.
In school, I'm doing great. I'm passing all my classes, doing everything that I can in school. But if I can play this in college, I would in an instant. I love this game.
Arizona State Director Athena Delgado says one of the largest draws to cornhole is its ability to unite families such as the Lopez family.
And we have, tons of kiddos ranging from, 7 years old all the way to their teenage years. And what's so great about cornhole is it's bringing all these families together. Mothers can play with their sons, fathers with their daughters.
With their family's brand displayed across their shirts, bags, and socks, it's clear that cornhole is much more than just a game to the Lopez family. In Maricopa, Derek Rivera, Cronkite News.
The Lopez family is gearing up for the American Cornhole League World Championship in Rock Hill, South Carolina at the end of July. That's it for this edition of the Cronkite Sports Report. Back to Lindsay and Jess at the desk.
Coming up next, you've heard of snakes on a plane, but a snake on a train?
Firefighters in Illinois rescued a pet python that slithered its way in the train's control panel. Find out how they were able to rescue Lucius, the ball python, when we return.
Harry Potter fans are very familiar with troublemaker Lucius Malfoy from Slytherin House. His namesake, Lucius the Ball Python, got into a bit of trouble himself.
The snake was found coiled up inside a control panel Saturday on a Chicago Transit Authority train. He slithered away from his owner.
Members of the Oak Park, Illinois Fire Department freed Lucius and returned him to his owner. Luckily, they didn't have to contact a constriction crew to get him out.
The firefighters posted on social media that it wasn't a typical rescue and posed with his owner, who hysterically dressed like a pirate.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Lindsay Dean.
And I'm Jessica Poole. Thank you for joining us. And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.